As someone who has never been a fan of the horror genre, I was a bit skeptical when finding out that Quantum Break developer Remedy Entertainment had also created Alan Wake. Hundreds of questions filled my mind. Would the game have a good story? Will the gameplay be fun? How long will the game last? After finally beating the game, all my questions have been answered, and I'm ready to tell you what I think. This is my review for Alan Wake. Alan Wake is an award-winning and best-selling author in the psychological horror genre. However, he's been suffering for 2 years from something called a writer's block. This means that he's unable to write anything new and struggling to come up with original ideas. Alan and his wife Alice decide to go on a vacation together to a cabin in the small town of Bright Falls. When Alan discovers that his wife planned this vacation to help him try and write again, he's furious and leaves her alone in the cabin. This doesn't last very long, as he finds out that his wife has been kidnapped and the pages from his final novel, Departure, are starting to come true in real life, even though Alan retains no memory of writing such novel. Remedy Entertainment is known for great storytelling, and this once again shows with Alan Wake. The story has many twists and turns along the way, keeping you on the edge of your seat. Now, something that is obviously very important to talk about is the ending. Personally, I have to say I was a bit disappointed because the entire game was a roller coaster full of mystery and emotions, and the ending honestly felt a bit rushed and incomplete. After thinking about it for a while now, I'm definitely okay with the ending, but I would have liked to see it finish in another way. Still, the ending is very unique and stands out from other games. The presentation of Alan Wake is probably what surprised me the most. You would expect that a game from 6 years ago would look and feel very poor compared to today's standards, but that's not the case here. Alan Wake has beautiful environments like forests, rural streets, and gorgeous waters. The game also has very nice visual and audio effects, immersing the player to feel like they are on the journey with Alan Wake. The only problems I had with the presentation of Alan Wake were the character models and the lip syncing. Obviously, I don't blame the game for not having extremely detailed character models, as they were definitely considered high quality in its time. The lip syncing though is done quite poorly. In cutscenes, audio would rarely match what the characters were saying. Either the timing was wrong or the words were wrong completely. The soundtrack in Alan Wake is absolutely amazing, making me feel like I was on the journey with Alan and feeling the emotions like sadness, worriness, and frightness. This caused the experience to be even better and sometimes had me get goosebumps in the scariest scenes. Overall, the presentation for Alan Wake was amazing in its time and still solid for today's standards. I myself was heavily surprised when first trying out the gameplay of Alan Wake. The game features a great combination of action-adventure and survival horror. Never have I seen a game focus so much on using a flashlight, and this is what Alan Wake did perfectly. The main enemies you'll be facing are the Taken, a name given to humans, animals, and objects that have been taken over by the darkness. By using your flashlight, you're able to defeat the shield of darkness protecting the Taken, now making them vulnerable to attack. Alan is given a variety of weapons to use against the Taken, such as a standard revolver, a pump-action shotgun, a highly accurate hunting rifle, or even defensive weapons like flashbangs or flares. Often at times, I would find myself struggling with ammo supply, simply because of how intense the game felt. I constantly had to strategically plan my moves against the waves of Taken, so I would be able to make it to the next checkpoint. Although the gameplay is very unique and fun, my only complaint was that it got a bit repetitive. Near the end of the game, I honestly felt like the game was dragging on a bit too much because of how it was the exact same gameplay over and over again. Waves of Taken just rushing towards me, and ultimately, I would start with my flashlight and finish with my weapons. The gameplay honestly really didn't have that much variety, just different enemies that varied in their size, speed, and weapons. Still, I had fun with the gameplay of Alan Wake, but this just wasn't the reason I continued to play the game. Now that Alan Wake has been out for more than 6 years, it's logical that you can get this game for a very cheap amount. Even though the game features no multiplayer and very little replay value, its gripping story and intense gameplay is definitely worth the small amount you're paying for this game. I myself was able to beat the story in around 12 hours on normal difficulty while following the main path and not going for too many of the collectibles. After beating the main story, there are also 2 additional DLCs that are worth playing that will give you an extra few hours. If you choose to play Alan Wake for a second time, try out the harder difficulties, explore the world for collectibles such as coffee thermoses, radio shows, TV shows, manuscripts, and much more, I can guarantee that the experience will be even better. Overall, you can get around 30 hours out of this game, and I definitely think it's worth the small amount you'll be paying. In the end, Alan Wake is an incredible game, and I definitely have to say that Remedy Entertainment did a great job. From the intriguing story that has you on the edge of your seat, to the intense gameplay that has you fighting for your life, to the beautiful environments in the lakes and forests, Alan Wake was a huge breath of fresh air for me. The game is an amazing experience that is a must-play for fans of the horror and survival genre, and even if you aren't a fan, I would still recommend it. With Remedy Entertainment now finished with Quantum Break, we've already discovered that they've been working on 2 brand new games. Could this be a sequel to Alan Wake? We don't know yet, but if it is, you can definitely count me in as excited. Alan Wake gets an 8 out of 10. Thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.